Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you may be in the world, and welcome back to Karting the Fun International Raceway. We've had the qualifying heats, we're getting ready for the pre-final and the finals. We're still at the same track as we were at before, but let's quickly take a look to refresh everyone's minds about where exactly we are and how the track is looking like. Here we go. We're at Karting the Fun, and like I said last time round, 1.3 kilometers long this track with a total of 14 corners. And I do have to say, it provided us with awesome racing in the qualifying heats. Most notably, a 3-wide finish for the mini and mini rookies. Max Jolly coming out on top ahead of Riley Morrow and Austin Oman in P3 in the end. But oh boy, did this provide us with some awesome action. And I'm looking forward to once again have a look at what it can provide us for the pre-finals and the finals. Here we go then. Of course, locate this track in the beautiful city of Marienborg. It's a clockwise track, and like I said, the track distance 1.3 kilometers long this track with a total of 14 corners. And for me, most notably of those corners is turn 1, turn 12 and turn 6. Those are all amazing overtaking opportunities. Now, turn 5 is a flat-out right-hander. Turn 4 is a tricky place to overtake as well. So you're looking at turn 12, 1 and 6 to be the best overtaking opportunities. And then you have the Mickey Mouse section of 9 and 10 and 11. That's the track that we have today. Like I said, we start once again with the mini and mini rookies after the qualifying heat. So far, I have to say, it's been an amazing experience being in the booth for you guys, providing you with all the action, commentary to all the action, together with the guys over at WFR Live TV and Studio. Weather has been great, I do have to say, here at Karting the Fun. The moment, if we look at the weather, it's a good, well, let's say 15 degrees, but sun's out sometimes. There's some south clover other times. But all in all, I would say that it's been amazing weather so far. Right, getting ready then for this mini and mini rookie pre-final. This pre-final, of course, points will be awarded, but also it's important to set the grid for the final later on today. Looking at the 131 entry, that is for Daan's racing team, Dejan Habets. Look at where Dejan finished in the previous race. It's P22 and lost on the grid for this race. So he'll be looking to do better than that in this one, as the mechanics now have to leave the grid, or the pre-grid. There's Theo once again in the beautiful blue shirt. The front of the grid, you can see the 122 of Riley Morrow, and opposite of him, we have Max Jolly. What a finish these three provided us with. 3 wide across the line. And there was half a tenth in it between the top three. All of us patiently waiting before we're allowed to leave the pre-grid. This will happen in about 2 minutes' time. Mechanics always have to leave the pre-grid 3 minutes before the opening of it. So yeah, that's a good shot too. We've got a crowd here too this weekend. Most of that crowd, of course, consists of parents, fans, and other drivers looking at what they are, at what they have to do, and looking at fellow friends. Because keep in mind, this is not only the karting sports. There are friendships within this paddock too. And just like Valentino Rossi would have the doctor, it is the farmer on the back of the Tony kart. I think that was on the back of Tom Reed's helmet, the 110. Drivers getting ready. Green flag is waved, and thus the drivers can leave the pre-grid. Alright, while these drivers are leaving the pre-grid, let's have a look then at exactly how the racing grid has shaped up over the qualifying heat. Like I said, it was Max Jolly, Riley Morrow, and Austin Oman providing us with a 3-wide finish across the line. It was Max Jolly in the end coming out on top. With 15 thousandths of a second over Riley Morrow in second, together with him on the front row. Austin Oman, not that far behind him either, because he found himself within 35 thousandths of a second of Riley Morrow, and thus the top three within half a tenth of a second. Tom Reed found himself in P4, watching it all unfold ahead of him. Mick Klinkers in P5, Leo Livings in P6, Jonathan Ottosen in 7, Tristan Abels in P8, P9 for Conrad Doyle, and Ryan Rampadarath in P10. Tren van Melik in P11 ahead of Matthias Verreken in P12, P13 for Mikkel Gottschalk, P14 for Harry Radcliffe, as I thought for a moment we were starting already, but we still have a warm-up lap to go. Leon Herbots in 15, ahead of Arlo Gamble in P16, then Kian Hai in 17, Malte Holm in 18th, Milo de Kausmaker in 19, Philip Massard in P20, Jansen Walker and Dejan Habert on the last row of the grid, row number 11 in 21st and 22nd respectively. There we go then. Drivers will get into the final sector of this racetrack, and we'll start to line their cards up side by side in 2 rows of 11 drivers. Before we go to the grid to get it all going. All starts were perfect from all pole sitters and all drivers so far today. Let's see what they can do. Here we go then, through the final corner. The final proper corner at least, because 12 is flat out. Here we go then, we've rounded off turn number 12, the revs will rise, drivers will keep an eye on the 5 red lights on the gantry. As soon as they're out, we're underway. And they have not, the lights have not gone out. We're gonna do all of that again. Do the drivers have any notice that the lights have not gone out? I can still see from my commentary booth that the lights are on, and indeed that is the case. Drivers have now gotten the word, and they'll slow down. Get it all going again. I did jinx it there, didn't I? Saying that all starts have been perfect from all our posters and all of our drivers. I did jinx it there. That's on me, everyone. First commentator curse luckily hasn't gone to any drivers. It's gone to the whole field. Start has been delayed. It's also a nice look, or a nice time to take a look at the duration of these races. It is 10 minutes plus 1 lap for all of these sessions. Through we go. We're going to try all of that again. Yellow flag still out. But the field is going to try it again. Are we going to get it going this time round? Yes, we are. Lights are out. We're underway and we're green, green, green for the pre-final of the mini and mini rookies. From pole, it was Max Joly ahead of Riley Morrow in second and Austin Oman in third. Tom Reed in fourth. Coming through turn 1, it's still Max Joly at the front of all of the pack. It's the 121, I think, from Austin Oman, who's gotten up into second. Yes, it is. And then it's Riley Morrow in second. Oh, excuse me, Riley Morrow in third. Austin Oman, of course, in second. And then in fourth, it's the 110 from Tom Reed. So that's all stayed the same. Bar Riley Morrow and Austin Oman switching places at the front. And look at this. We're once again, all three of them are pushing each other along. The inside, though, for Austin Oman, who's going to make his way through. Riley Morrow will try and follow his way through as well. Max Joly has been demoted to P3 and is now under attack from fellow Tony Kart driver Tom Reed in the 110. Stays ahead of him though. At the front of the field now, it's Austin Oman and Riley Morrow in second. Of course, both drivers striving for Sam Pollitt Racing. The front of the field now. So the team will be happy with that. But the drivers at the front. But look at the slipstreaming going on. Max Joly once again under attack. Tom Reed has been overtaken, I think. Is it Mick Klinkers who is in the other Tony Kart? Looks like that. No. Mick Klinkers is in fifth. Fourth is Tom Reed still. No changes there. As Austin Oman still looks to contain that lead. These 3 minutes extra provide the drivers with about 4 more laps if all goes well. As I can clearly see, one of the Tony Kart mechanics here next to me, next to the commentary booth on the grandstand, showing their drivers elbows out. This time it's Max Joly starting from the pole, and also he's now lost 2 positions. We look back at the pole for the qualifying heat. It was Austin Oman at that time. Austin Oman now starting third and now up into first. So roles reversed for those 2 drivers. As on to start finish we come once again. Let's have a little run through the top 10, shall we? Austin Oman in first, ahead of Riley Morrow in second, Max Joly third, Tom Reed in fourth, Mick Klinkers in fifth, Leo Livings in sixth, Harry Ratcliffe seventh, up 7 positions Harry Ratcliffe. Still don't know what happened to him in the qualifying heat. He dropped down so much at the end. Tristan Abiels in P8, Jonathan Ottersen 9th, and Matthias Verreken in P10. That's your top 10 as we run. As fastest sectors are being set. Quickest lap of the race for the moment. Set by Harry Ratcliffe. These drivers looking to take that away from him. As a cross start finish we go. And indeed they do. It's a 59.3 for a moment, but Harry Ratcliffe takes that right back from the two at the front. Two at the front are breaking away from Max Jolly, Tom Reed and Mick Klinkers a little. Austin Oman and Riley Morrow breaking away from the chasing pack behind them, the chasing Tony Kart pack behind them. And have to work together to catch back up. Austin Oman with a quickest first sector on this lap once again. They keep pumping in those quickest sectors. It's impressive the consistency at which they do this. Turn 11 we go again. 4 and a bit minutes left in this race. Start finish we go again. And once again it's Austin Oman and Riley Morrow still at the front of the field, but Max Jolly, having regained the lead, is driving with a renewed confidence, it seems like, has closed that gap right back up. And is on the back now of Riley Morrow in the 122. Austin Oman keeps looking behind, checking where the others are. What's the gap? What's the space I have to the driver behind? As the cross start finish we go. We're gonna have, I think, 5 more laps here. We're gonna get, like I said, an extra lap because of those 3 minutes. So we're gonna get 4 extra laps compared to what we had in the qualifying heat. And thus 4 extra laps for Austin Oman to try and keep the lead, but also 4 extra laps for Riley Morrow and Max Jolly to try and take that away from him. Tom Reed, Mick Klinkers, Harry Ratcliffe still chasing. Harry Ratcliffe up 8th now, he's up into 6th. Other gainers are Jensen Walker in 13th, also up 8. And Dejan Habets in P16, he's up 6. Riley Morrow, oh, bit of a white moment there for Austin Oman. I don't know if that was intentional. But a wide moment for Austin Oman. Doesn't seem to have hurt him that much. Still keeps his gap that he had to Riley Morrow. Max Jolly still behind Riley Morrow, trying to attack him where he can, but just doesn't seem to find an opportunity at the moment, it seems like. Now then, maybe. Now he's closer than he's ever been coming out of 12. Can he try something into turn 1? No. Opens that gap back up. Riley Morrow on the straight. Seems like that engine just runs a little better. With a better exit out of 12 because of his line in 11. Now then, now he seems close. When is something going to change in The top 5 here, they were running, well, basically the same for the same way for, I think, about 85% of this race now. Just biding their time. Are we going to get last lap or second to last lap? I presume second to last lap once we cross start finish. It's going to be close though. 10 seconds left now. Out of the final corner. And we're going to see right here. Will it be final lap? No, it won't be. We'll have one extra lap added to it. They crossed the start finish line at 0:0:01. So they got 1 second left when they cross start finish. Therefore, we'll do an extra lap, an extra tour of this 1.3 kilometer long circuit. These 12 turns around Karting Define International Raceway. And with every corner that goes by now, drivers will get more and more desperate to try something. Also knowing that this will set them up though for the final. Keeping that in mind as well. Drivers won't, I think, perform any crazy do-or-die actions for a win here. Of course it would be nice, but it's not necessary. The final is where it counts. But they're setting themselves up beautifully here to have at least a great chance. And Austin Oman, after losing his pole to Max Jolly in the qualifying heat, puts the fight back on Max Jolly in these pre-final. Just a couple more corners to go now. Off this track to go, and there comes Riley Morrow to the inside. That allows Max Jolly to have a look round the outside too. He can't, and because of that, loses a position instead of gaining one. Tom Reed up into the top 3. Max Jolly down to 4th. But that was the moment Riley Morrow was waiting for. Riley Morrow has gone up into P1. Will it once again be a drag race between these two this time? Coming out of 12. Will it be close? Will he put out the slipstream? He will, but he can't quite get there. Riley Morrow wins. Tom Reed in 3rd, ahead of Max Jolly in 4th. Paul Sitter down to 4th. Mick Klinkers in 5th, ahead of Harry Ratcliffe in 6th. Leo Livings in P7. Tristan Abiels in P8, ahead of Jonathan Otterson and Matthias Verreken rounding off the top 10. But boy, these mini rookies have provided us with action once again. The mini rookie win goes high. Finishes at 10th. Or behind of Arlo Gamble, who takes that win. 5 seconds ahead of a competitor. It is Ryan Rampadareth in P11 ahead of Jason Walker in 12th. Conrad Doyle in P15. Tejan Habets in P16. Leon Herbert 17th. Arlo Gamble in P18. Kian Hai in 19th. Milo de Kousmaker in 20th. P22. Dejan Habets up 6. Victor Walker up 9. Biggest gainers in this field. In particular, Conrad Doyle lost only 4 though, so no big losers in this race. No hope lost there for Conrad Doyle. Only 4 positions lost, those are gained back. Those he could gain back in the final. Well, that was it once again for the mini. Up next here, at the circuit is the DD2 and DD2 Masters. As the DD2 and DD2 Masters leave the pre-grid, we can get ready to take a look at the starting grid for this race, with a total of 16 competitors on the grid. This morning in the qualifying and winning the qualifying heat is Sam Knopjes ahead of Antoine Barbaro. In second, those two were really the two fighting for the win in the qualifying heat. William Norbach in third ahead of Wout Kirstjens in fourth. Then Lawrence Herbots in fifth ahead of Frederik Zebis in P6. Christoph Kapitein in seventh, and Gustavs Usakovs in P8. P9 for Jeremy Braslers in 9th. And P10. P11 then for Marco Drittenprijs. P12 for Mathis Ankas. And P13 for Nicolas Guillaume. P14 though on the grids, and the 7th row on the starting rows is Mikael Becker. And the last row on the grid will be Kian de Brandt and Lisanne Kielstra, 15th and 16th respectively. Alright, drivers line up side by side. Coming out of here. Here we go then. Lining up the DD2s. And DD2 Masters. As we get ready to get this going at the first time of asking, and yes we do! Slots in right behind that, but he goes to the inside in turn 2. Antoine Barbeau looking to the inside and getting the job done. It looks like, at least. It's ahead of Sam Knopjes. This is the reverse sort of how Sam Knopjes now with work to do. Convincingly to about 8/10, I think, only. And as we come round to finish lap number 1 soon, it's going to be Antoine Barbeau. Has gotten himself up into first, ahead of Sam Knopjes in fourth, Frederik Zebis in fifth, Lawrence Herbots in sixth. with their companion on the starting grid. Christians is going ahead of William Norback for P3. Bots for P5. Then it's Christoph Captain. Is up 3 positions. And Jeremy Brasler up 9. That's the top 10 as it looks when the drivers come round to finish lap number 2. Sam Knopius, though, has regained the lead and is now with a purple first sector. Battle then. This is the 405. This is the battle for P4. William Norback, Frederick Zebis and Lawrence Herbots involved in that. Oh, as the 433 goes up the inside of William Norback. William Norback, the 405 now down to 7th instead. Oh, no, William Norback is up in P3. Excuse me. He's gone up into P3 now. It was the 433 who went up the inside of Wout Christians. The 468 losing 2 positions in the process. Lawrence Herbots also getting past him. Some decisive moves there from driver. Following his companion William Norback, also Danish, in 3rd at the moment. Peek through the clouds once again here at Karting Define International Raceway. We have got 6.5 minutes plus 1 lap to go in this race. The gap for Sam Knopius is impressive. I know the qualifying heat, but Antoine Barbaro was able the gap to Sam Knopius after being passed at the start, which was a great opportunity for Antoine. Well, at least has taken that as motivation and is absolutely last time round. So something's happened there. I feel like he's made a mistake somewhere. That's why he lost so much ground to Sam Knopius. And Sam Knopius once again setting a fastest lap of the race. The consistency with which he does this is kind of scary. 54.509. Antoine Barbaro, a 54.754. So that's more like it. Same pace as the 3 drivers. About Christians. The gap between those. 0.7 of a second. 5. This once again comes through, puts in a 54.427 now. Another fastest lap of the race for him. Is that the 405? I think this is 405 William Norback. Must be. Here we are with the 433 Frederick Zebis, who's a little bit behind that. As Wout Christians behind him and Lawrence Herbots. But here is Sam Knopius. I mean, the gap just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and these 3 extra minutes are going to allow him to open up that gap even further. Antoine Barbaro getting close to the last lap, a 10th only now behind Sam Knopius' lap time. But I presume Sam Knopius also knows what's at stake here. He knows where he's at. He knows there's not maximum risk required. He's controlling the pace from the front of this field to lose any time. That's all he needs to do. If we come through to finish another lap, head down by Sam Knopius to try and gain every single millisecond. Around another 2.5, almost 3/10 gained by Sam Knopius. Time for us then to look back through the field. Rittenprijs up 4 positions. And then Nicolas Guillaume. Kian de Brandt also up 3 positions. Project Zebis, biggest gainer in the this time round though, lap time the same for the two at the front and everyone behind that. Everyone in we're looking at the moment, the 5:28 is the leading drivers for the DD2 Masters. And there he is, going through shot. He's leading by 9/10 over Jeremy Brasler. Michael Becker in 3rd in that class. For P6, Lawrence Herbots and Marco Drittenprijs. Marco Drittenprijs, like I said, remember, also already up 4 positions. Could make it 5. And who says he can't gain any further? Across the line this time round. Through he comes. And he's on the final lap already. And Sam Knopius is holding back a little now. Back to within 1.6 tenths. Or Lawrence Herbots can keep Marco Drittenprijs behind. The leader in the DD2 Masters class, still Christophe Captain. Who comes through to win ahead of Antoine Barbaro, William Norbach in P3, Patrick Zebes in 4th, and Wout Christians in 5th, Lawrence Herbots in 6th, Christophe Captain in 7th, Marco Drittenprijs in 8th, Jeremy Brasler P9. P10. Nicolas Golem in P11. Kian de Brandt in P12. Michael Becker P13. Lisanne Kielstra P14. And the driver is not finishing this race. Matizan. A calmer heat by the DD2 and DD2 Masters. Big drive from Sam Knopius, who finishes 1.5 seconds ahead of Antoine Barbaro in second and William Norbach in P3. Next up here at the Junior Max pre-final. All right. Right, as we get ready then for the pre-final of the Max Juniors, who are patiently awaiting Theo's sign that the pre-grid exit is open and they can leave onto the track. I couldn't get through all 31 competitors last time we tried this. So as soon as they leave the pre-grid, let's try and do that this time. Looking at card number 200. Car number 215 is Archie Lovat. Driver. He finished P30 in the qualifying heat. He will start, because of that, in P30 in the pre-final. We're looking to climb to try and set him up or on today, which is what all drivers will be looking to. Alright, green flag is being waved. And that means that the drivers can leave the pre-grid and we can take a look at the starting grid for the Max Juniors. It's in the qualifying heat, so he will start from the pole position ahead of Vince van der Halen. Jacob Ashcroft in P3 ahead of Boris Maximov in, who gained 16 positions in the qualifying heat. Will start in 7th. Nico van Boekel in 8th. Then 9th is Isaac van der Weken. Cliff in 12th. Noah Barham in P13. Storm van Rossum in P15. David Mjetter in P8 or in P16 on the 8th row of the 19th for Ethan Griffiths, 20th for Ryan Gandur. Shun Sekiguchi in 20th, Hansson, P24 for Erik Brandsborg. P25 for Jente Mone, Liam Haug in P26, P27 for Alex Kutsen. I should love it in 30th, I touched on it earlier, and Flat Engebets, Frederick in and P31. Frederick Flood Engebret, and for him it will be looking to gain back as many later on today. Started quite far up. If we look where Frederick Flood Engebret started in P20 after his qualifying. So he'll be looking to get back to at least where he started there, if not further. Drivers the track as they look to get this race underway. Let's do. And they don't. I should not mention this, should I? I should just keep my mouth shut about the starting procedure. And they're gonna have to try again. Harry Freeman not to be the one start where I didn't mention it. Want to be lining up again before we get round the final corner of It's time for start attempt number 2. This time, shall we? Don't accelerate too early. Now they don't. The lights go out and we are underway for the pre-final for the Max Juniors. It's Harry Freeman from pole ahead of Vince van der Halen. Coming through sector 1 this time, it is Harry Freeman who's kept it on the pole and in first position in the 277. 228. Oh, Vince van der Halen is behind Jacob Ashcroft, who's managed to get up into second. Vince van der Halen down to third. Has taken back that position already, I think. Yes, he has. He's taken back his second place already. Oh, there's an incident. Who are those two? I can tell you exactly who that is. That looks to be... It's... Ludwig Hansson and Liam Haug, who found themselves tangled after lap number 1. Side by side there. For P2 and P3, or for P3 and P4 is Mate Kobahice and Vince van der Halen. Vince van der Halen, after starting second, down into fourth. And Mate Kobahice, after gaining 16 positions already in the qualifying heat, is now up into third. How far can Mate Kobahice take this? Across the line we go. No, Mate Kobahice has been overtaken. It's Vince van der Halen up into third. And was Maximov in fourth now. Was Mate Kobahice dropping down the order. I thought for a second that's the wrong helmet in P3 if I look at my timing screen. And true that was. Mate Kobahice down to fifth. Losing positions instead of gaining them there in that lap. Vince van der Halen back up into P3. That's important. Boss Maximov in P4 now. But crucially for Harry Freeman, he's still at the front of this field, unknowingly of what's all going on behind him. 286 of Lieke van Boekel trying to keep Max Sadurski behind him. Lieke doing a tremendous job in P6. She's gained 2 positions ahead now of, as I say that, she drops down. Obviously, you know, as a commentator, those things can never go right, can they? Bran van der Vecken has gone up to 6 now. He's gained 4 instead of the 2 that Lieke van Boekel would have gained if she would have been there. So Bran van der Vecken up 4 now with a fastest first sector on this lap too by 0.2 of a second over Harry Freeman. Bran van der Vecken is showing that he could well be one to watch out for in the race and especially later on in the final. Up the inside goes Mate Kobahice, but position gets taken away again. Mate Kobahice comes back at the 296 of Bran van der Vecken. I'm gonna quick little peek behind them, what's going on. They have to defend or not. Was Maximov fourth now. Storm van Rossum dropping down the order quite a bit. Same goes for Isaac Barker. It seems to be separate incidents for them too. Fastest first sector time now by Shun Sekouchi in P22. Hey, Freeman building up this race perfectly so far. It's getting quicker and quicker and quicker. 6.5 or 5.5 minutes to go here in this session. Setting themselves up nicely, so like this. For the final later on. As looking to the inside is Jacob Ashcroft. He's going to buy this time. Decides to buy this time. The outside, though, for Max Sadurski. Can't quite manage to make it stick. Had a good go at it, though. Bram van der Wekke. Mate Kobe hits it with the fastest lap of the race, 56.1. So Jacob Ashcroft's taking the lead away from Harry Freeman. Harry Freeman gone there. He is out down in 5th now. Mate Kobe has gotten past him. He's down in 6th. Harry Freeman. What's happened to Harry Freeman? Up the inside he goes. More contact being made. But Jacob Ashcroft has got the lead of this race now. I was wondering for a second, where did Harry Freeman go down into 6th and on one lap loses 5 positions? We'll look to try and regain those. Mate Kobahici now with the fastest first sector. Lining himself up quite nicely, I have to say. But keep in mind that he gained 60 positions already in the qualifying heat from a qualified. It's been quite a successful day for Mate Kobahici so far. Start finish we come once again. Looking to the inside is Jacob Ashcroft on Vince van der Halen, who's now taking the lead of this race. Belgian driver on home soil. Mate Kobahici putting in another fastest lap time, 55.994. That's also the fastest lap time we've seen so far. But still, with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, feels like we've had about an hour long of a race already with all the action. Look at Mate Kobahici now, looking for a way past Boaz Maximov. Also keep an eye on Harry Freeman, who's down to 7th now. We'll be looking to regain all of those positions lost, at least some of them, before the final later on. Forcing Vince van der Halen. Defensive is Jacob Ashcroft. Trying to create patterns for Vince van der Halen. And there he goes. The pass for the lead. Jacob Ashcroft through on Vince van der Halen. 2 minutes left in this race. Jacob Ashcroft decided now is the time. And thus, those two breaking free a little at the front. Dust being kicked up. More drama for Harry Freeman. Seems to be getting from bad to worse for the 277. Oh, he's trying to gain back a couple of those spots that he lost, and he has done so. Watch out for Lost Lumbers too. Up 3. A lot of juggling or jostling for position. The top 2's broken away though. 1.5 seconds is the gap from 2nd to 3rd. Those two seem to have broken away at the exact right time. It's now a battle between Jacob Ashcroft and Vince van der Halen for the race victory. We've got 2 more laps to go after this one. When is Vince van der Halen going to attack? If he can attack. Slipstream doing the drop. The outside of turn 1 for Vince van der Halen. Not the way round this time. And you have a look at the inside. No, once again, gets forced to the outside by Jacob Ashcroft, who fends off the inside. And every possible opportunity he gets is allowing group behind had to catch back up a little bit. Harry Freeman back up to 4th. Lost Lumbers now down to 5th. It's been overtaken by Harry Freeman on the last lap. Lieke van Boekel, she's up to 6th. But this is the battle for the lead. This is the one we're focusing on for now. These two have been extremely close the whole race. Jacob Ashcroft looks like he's in control of this one. For now at least. Across the line, the gap was less than half a tenth of a second. The outside once again for Vince van der Halen. This needs to be the lap that Vince van der Halen is going to try something once again. Inside defended by Jacob Ashcroft. Trying to get the exit is Vince van der Halen. Can't find his way past. He's all over the back of Ashcroft. But Van der Halen can't seem to find a way past. He's going to, if he wants to, force his way past. Ashcroft is not going to allow him any opportunities here. But if he does, Vince for sure will take them. Rounding off 2 more corners. Is it going to be a drag race to the line between the two at the front? Pulling out of the slipstream late is Vince van der Halen, but he can't quite get there. Gap is less than 300ths of a second. But he couldn't quite get there. Congratulations, Jacob Ashcroft. You're going to start the final from the pole position. What a race those two provided us with at the front. Vince van der Halen all over the back of Jacob Ashcroft. He couldn't quite make his way past. Max Sadurski in 3rd. Harry Freeman making his way back up to 4th, but will be disappointed after what happened midway through that race. Lars Lumbers in 5th, up 2 as well. Bran van der Vekke up 4 in 6th. Lieke van Boekel up 1 in 7th. Mate Kobahice in the end down 3 in this race in P8. Noah Barham in 9th ahead of Ryan Gandour, who's up 10 in P10. Mason Bjerring staying in P11 where he started too. Isaac Barker in 12th. Boris Maximov in 13th. Louise Radcliffe in P14 is here once again. We see that start. The start that was deemed legal. Mason Bjerring, like I said, P11, Isaac Barker, P12, Boas Maximov, 13th, Louis Radcliffe, 14th, Ethan Griffiths, 15th, Sebastian Loisch, 16th, Erik Brandsborg in 17th, Fredrik Vlad Engelberts, there he is, coming from P31 all the way to P18, up 13 positions. Jente Mone in P19, Shun Sekiguchi in P20, Leonel Mungui in P21, Alex Kutsen in P22, Storm van Rossum P22, Divrim Jetter in P24, Justin Vonk in P25, Thomas Vrije P26, Archie Lovat P27, Koen Willems P28, Ludwig Hansen P29, Samir Paul in P30 and Liam Haug in P31. That was juniors. Up next is seniors. Another grade of 31 cards awaiting us. All of these Max seniors awaiting the signal from Theo that they can go out of the pre-grid just like all the others have done before them. It's our final race before a short, well, what's been shortened to a 20-minute break now. But let's take a quick look at this starting grid, because let me tell you, it's another big one. Another 31 card grid. So, starting on pole position then is Tom Longlois, ahead of Ollie Wise in P2, together on the front row of the grid. Cameron Nelson in third, and Tino Sidler in fourth. Devian Roest in fifth. Matej Radenkovic in P6. Macaulay Bishop 7th. Ties van Wijk in P8. Sebastian Koch in 9th. Sverre Uben in P10. Jonkers Olivier in 11th. Lewis Goff in 12th. And then Lloyd Hare in P13. Sasha Aim 14th. 8th row of the grid is Christopher Holst and Cas Boshuis. 9th row is Arnaud Saborin and Tino Potier. 10th row of the grid is Jort van Wijk and Bo Alrichs. 11th row of the grid, Lado Kukianidze in P21. William Pebble, P22. Matthijs Terlouw, P23. Bastien Mesniel, P24. Marianne Bourguignon in P25. Magnus Brandt in P26. P27 for Fredrik Jo Sørensen. And 28 for Rein van der Meer. 29 then for Knut Nielsen. Adam Wooden in P30. And Charlie Smith in P31. Rounding off our 31 card strong grid. I can see on one of our screens, there he is, I saw this already. It's card 314. That is Tino Sidler, starting P4 in the grid, being held. Oh no! Tino Sidler being held at pre-grid exit. Unknown reason for me. He's still there, as all of the other drivers are coming through to line up. Won't get the chance to warm up his tires. We'll have to do that in racing condition. He'll be let loose as soon as the field has passed and has taken the start. Here we come then through the 12th and final corner. Drivers will have to take it slow. Will the lights go out? The lights will go out. We're underway and racing. Tom Longlois keeping his lead into turn 1. Second on the grid was Ollie Wise. Can he keep second place? That's the question. Seems like Cameron Nelson has caught up into P2. Yes, he has. Ollie Wise has lost his second place, fallen down to third. Of course, Tino Sidler still sitting there. He's been let loose now. And he does said the fastest sector. But, well, Tino Sidler having to start from the exit of the pre-grid. Tom Longlois, though, still keeping his lead into Sector 2 as well. Ollie Wise trying to get back past Cameron Nelson. And across the line, Cameron Nelson and Tom Longlois going side by side. And it's Cameron Nelson who gets past Tom Longlois back in the second. Cameron Nelson up at the P1 from third on the grid. Lap number 2, it's his prey. Allows Ollie Wise to get back past, but it's not over yet. Tom Longlois comes back at him into turn 4 and gets back past Cameron Nelson. Very early on in this race, those two already making intentions clear, not wanting to wait or give each other an inch. The whole field seeing this happen in front of them. And they think, yes, boys, keep fighting. That'll give us the chance to catch back up after we've made our overtakes. Ollie Wise has also been passed by Macaulay Bishop, who's now in third. Ollie Wise has dropped down to 6th. He's lost 4. As that was Macaulay Bishop going up the inside of Cameron Nelson as well. Macaulay Bishop up 5 and into 2nd already. Can Tom Longlois keep, for as far as I know, his perfect evening going? Or Cameron Nelson asked to watch out. Devian Roest is also behind him. Sebastian Koch dropping all the way down to P8. Dropped down 4 positions. Devian Roest up into P4, doing well. He's also gotten past Ollie Wise. Tom Longlois creating himself a little bit of a gap. 4/10 it was last time round. You have a driver off on the start-finish stretch. I'll be able to tell you in a moment exactly who that is. Let's focus on the front of the field before we do that. Still Tom Longlois at the front. Gap has come down a bit by Macaulay Bishop, who's trying his best to eat back into that lead that Tom Longlois had. Cameron Nelson in third, ahead of Devian Roest, still in P4. Ollie Wise still in P5, can't quite make his way back up the order. Matej Radenkovic in 6th, ahead of Ties van Wijk in 7th. Sebastian Koch in 8th. Arnaud Zaborin up 8 positions in P9. Trying to make another place. That was Matej Radenkovic on Ollie Wise. Can't quite make his way through. The driver who we had off being chased by Marshall, hopefully he's okay, was looking at his right hand. I can tell you exactly who that was. That was... Yep, that was Sacha, the French driver. So let's hope Sasha is okay. The incident. As we see a fastest lap of the race by Tino Sidla, the Swiss driver, trying to make up positions after he was forced to start from pre-grid exit. Tucking behind the steering wheel is Tom Longlois at the front of the field ahead of Macaulay Bishop. Gap staying the same. Can't get anything between them in terms of lap time. Cameron Nelson, who led at some point, don't forget that, in P3 now. Ollie Wise, who started this race from the front row, he's down in P4. Devian Roest has conceded that position and is back in P5, also where he started from. A lot of drivers in the top 6 where they started from. Only movers, Macaulay Bishop and Ollie Wise. Exactly 1/100th of a second gained by Macaulay Bishop there. Showing you how close in terms of lap time these drivers are. And that little gap that Tom Langlois has might well be enough. It might well do enough for him if it stays like this. Because it seems like in terms of pace, Macaulay Bishop can't quite make the difference anymore. Has already gained 5 positions. It's been an impressive race for Macaulay Bishop. As we look at the 3, 5, 6 from Ollie Wise, who's lost those 2 positions, of course. Down in 4th. Top 15 staying the same. First mover on this lap, Charlie Smith, getting ahead of Laro Kukianidze. But my question is, can Macaulay Bishop close up to Tom Langlois? Cross start finish, it's going to be close here. With the 55s we're running. We might either get 4 or 3 more laps. I'm hitting the nail on the head on 3. That is the amount of laps that Macaulay Bishop has left to try and force something on Tom Langlois. He first has to get there though. That's the 3:04 of Cameron Nelson. Getting back past Devian Roost, I think that was. Cameron Nelson, who lost a couple of positions, still has lost one to Ollie Wise, who's back up on into the top 3 now. Yeah, 2 more laps now. Ollie Wise back up into 3rd. Cameron Nelson in 4th now. Devian Roost stays in P5. Was momentarily ahead, I think, of Cameron Nelson, sorry. And thus we look at the battle for the lead. Tom Langlois and Macaulay Bishop. Gap is still 3.5 tenths of a second as we go on to the final lap of this race. Deciding who will be on pole for the final, who will take the victory in the pre-final. Tom Langlois, since he got into the lead and he got a little bit of the gap, has seemed unchallenged. The gap has stayed 3 to 3.5 tenths of a second. It hasn't gone down or below that, or below or above that. It's literally fluctuated between 0.5 tenth of a second. That's how close these drivers are in pace. Last time round, 300 slower was Macaulay Bishop. It looks like it's going to be too little too late. Gap has opened up even a little further on this lap. The 3:55 of Tom Langlois has done everything he needed to do. Continues, as far as I'm concerned, a perfect evening. He wins the pre-final and will go into the final as pole sitter. Macaulay Bishop puts himself on the front row after starting in 6th. Or no, P7 even. Up 5 positions, Macaulay Bishop. My, oh my. Ollie Wise in 3rd, ahead of Cameron Nelson in 4th. Matteo Radenkovic in 5th, rounding off the top 5. And it's Sebastian Koch in P6 ahead of Ties van Wijk in P7. Devian Roest. Devian Roest, what happened to Devian? Finishes P8 in the end. There was another warning though for car number 356, Ollie Wise. That was at the start of this race, so it seems to all be fine. But there was a warning. Through the order then we go Arno Sabarin in 9th and Olivier Jonkers in P10. Jort van Wijk in P11, Lewis Goff in P12, Charlie Smith in P13, Sverre Uben in P14, and Lado Kukjanidze in P16, Christopher Holst in P15, Lloyd Hare in 17th, and Adam Wooden in 18th. Ryan Bourguignon in P19, Knut Nielsen in P20, Bastien Mesnil in P21, Tino Sidla P22, Tino Potier P23, Cas Boshuis in P24, William Pebble P25, Frederick Jules Sørensen P26, Bo Alrichs in P27 and Magnus Brandt in P28. P29 for Matthijs Terlouw and Rijn van der Meer in P30, and it's only Sasha Aym who did not cross the start-finish line. We saw that incident that the driver had on the opposite ends of start-finish. Driver hopefully okay. But that was it for the pre-final. Alright, after all of the pre-final action, it's time for us to go to a 20-30 minute break, and we'll leave you with the commercials while we do so. We'll be back soon with all the finals.
do you come here? Is this your career?
Or is it all about fun? A chance to get away and leave it all behind?
Or do you chase your personal best? Challenging yourself over and over again. Why do you come here?
Maybe you're here to collect moments. Good ones. And not so good ones.
Or you can't afford mistakes because you want that victory. It's all about this one moment when the hard work finally pays off.
This is the place that brings us closer to the people who share our story. Whoever we are,
Whatever we're here for, racing is who we are.
Alright, welcome back here at Karting de Fun International Raceway as our mini and mini rookies leave the pre-grid for the final. Let's take a look at our starting grid for this race. So, it's Riley Morrow in second, Tom Reed, Riley Morrow, excuse me, in first, Tom Reed in second. Then it's Mick Clinkers in third, Harry Ratcliffe in fourth, Leo Livingston fifth, Tristan Abels in sixth, Jonathan Otteson in P7, Max Jolly in 8th, and Matthias Vereken in P9, Ryan Rampet-Awerth in P10, Jensen Walker in 11th, Conrad Doyle in P12, Trent van Meelik in P13, Mikkel Gottschalk in P14, Dejan Habets in 15th, 16th is Leon Herbots, and it is Arlo Gamble in P17, Milo de Kousmaker in P18, then Mate Holm in P19, Kian Hay in P20, 21st is Philip Massart, and 22nd is Austin Omen. How did Austin Omen get there is my question. Austin Omen had 2 great races. And Austin Omen is starting last on the grid. Well then. Waiting for the drivers now to line up in 2 rows of 11 again. Before we get underway with the final for the mini and mini rookies. Riley Morrow and Tom Reed on the front row. Ahead of the 116 of Max Jolly, who's in P3. I've got him in P8 on my grid that I've been given. Alright. But just been given a new grid. And as we see, it's Max Jolly indeed on P3. And well, here we go then. As the revs rise, we get ready to go for the final for the mini and mini rookies. And we do it at the first time of asking. Green, green, green for the mini and mini rookies. It's a good start from our pole sitter, Riley Morrow, and Tom Reed in P2. Max Jolly then in P3. Mick Clinkers in P4. Harry Ratcliffe in 5th. Leo Livingston in P6. Tristan Abels in 7th. That's how we get through. My timing has decided to give up completely. But we can still see that it's the 122 of Riley Morrow ahead of the 110 of Tom Reed. So that stayed as it is. Ah, there it is, back again. Alright, got timing back. Be able to give you much more information now. Riley Morrow in first ahead of Tom Reed in second. Max Jolly stays in third. Mick Clinkers stays in fourth. Harry Ratcliffe stays in fifth. Leo Living stays in sixth. And Tristan Abels stays in seventh. When will these drivers go for a move here? The duration then of these finals for the mini and the mini rookies, it is 12 minutes plus 1 lap for Junior Max, it's also 12 minutes plus 1 lap. For DD2 and DD2 Masters, it's 15 minutes plus 1 lap. And the same goes for Senior Max, also 15 minutes plus 1 lap. Coming through to complete the second lap of these 12 minutes then. Max Jolie setting the quickest first sector. Tom Reed in front of him, responding by setting the fastest second sector. Both of them closing in on the race leader, Riley Morrow. I saw Tom Reed look behind him and nodding to Max Jolie. Let's go for Riley Morrow together. Let's be smart. Harry Ratcliffe gets up into fourth now. Gets past Mick Klinkers. Leo Livingstone in 6th and Tristan Abiel still in 7th. As Riley Morrow is creating himself a nice little gap now at the front. Gap is just under 0.4 of a second. Keep in mind, the results of the final today will be calculated together with the results of the final tomorrow. And that will be our podiums at the end of the weekend. Tom Reed closing in on that gap. Riley Morrow, that gap's now down to 2.5 of a second. Best lap time of the race set by Max Jolie on the last lap. 59.457. Full 0.2 quicker than Riley Morrow at the front. But Riley Morrow responds 59.382. And that in turn is 0.2 quicker again than Max Jolie. That is your battle for the lead. Tom Reed in 2nd. Riley Morrow in 1st. Quickest sector time for Max Jolie last time round. Harry Ratcliffe, who got up into 4th, also closes in on that battle. Mick Klinkers in 5th. But Austin Oman up 13 positions. Started P20 to absolutely plumb last. And he's made his way up to P9 already. Don't count Austin Oman out either. He's got about half of this race left now to go from P9 to somewhere in the top 3. Put himself in with a realistic chance tomorrow. Austin Oman, there he is, fastest lap of the race, 59.345. And with that, he is 0.6 faster than Jensen Walker ahead of him. Still, though, we focus on the battle for the lead. The lap time's almost identical from the three at the front. Gaps in between the lap times within a tenth of a second. And they do exactly the same this time round. 0.003 of a second, or 0.03 of a second is the difference between Riley Morrow and Tom Reed. It's 0.05 between Max Jolly and Riley Morrow. So equal, those two at the front. But equally so is Austin Oman, who's still in P9. He's going to have to make his way past if he wants to gain anything. He seems a little bit stuck at the moment. Leo Livings is the next one on the list for Austin Oman. There's a bit of a gap there. 3.8 seconds he's away from the lead. With 4 minutes to go. That's going to be difficult to catch back up. Austin Oman up into P8 has gained 14 positions already. It's been a majestic drive from Austin anyways. As now the battle between the two teammates kicks off. Max Jolly says, I've been behind you for long enough now. You haven't caught him. It's time I take matters into my own hands. Inside defended by Tom Reed, he knows it. This is going to give Riley Morrow exactly what he needed. He's done enough. It's now down to the drivers behind him. .59.3 by Austin Oman last time round. Across the line, here we come. What's the gap? Gap has gone up to 0.4 of a second. As Tom Reed now slots in behind Max Jolly. Swiftly done that. Max Jolly though, that gap has opened up a little. What can Max Jolly do now? He has another 2.5 minutes, a little over 2.5 minutes to go now. To close down that gap. That was 0.4 of a second. This is the 130. This is Harry Ratcliffe ahead of Mick Klinkers. That was the battle for P4. Here is that battle in the 113. We go back to the battle at the front of the field. Gap has not been closed by Max Jolly. Rather, he's lost some time to Riley Morrow. But after that switch, that's not too crazy, I would say. Automatically lost a little of time. But he'll be looking at this lap, and he does. Purple sector for Max Jolly. Gains almost a tenth, and another tenth in the middle sector. Max Jolly is on it. He's almost completely closed that gap down in the span of, what, 2 sectors? How much can he do in the final sector? How much did he ask from his tires? How many laps have we got in it? I don't dare say. It's too close to call. I would say at the moment, 2 more laps after this one. But it all depends on Riley Morrow's pace. Gap down to 0.4 of a second. Another purple sector in sector number 1 by Max Jolly. Different lines. But look at that, he closes that gap up another 1/10 of a second in Sector 2. Can he keep it there for Sector number 3 too now? Are they going to enter the last lap? Are we going to get another one? That's what's going to decide this race for Max Jolly, I feel like. We are going to get another one. 2 more laps to go. Once again, they cross the line with a second left. Max Jolly sets the fastest lap of the race, but it's not enough. Riley Morrow improves his time too, and most of that time was found in the last sector. If Max Jolly can piece a lap together, he might well be within a 1/10 of a second at the end of this lap. But he needs to hook up the last sector. Riley Morrow responds to Max Jolly's attack. Goes half a 1/10 quicker in Sector 1. We look at the battle between Harry Ratcliffe and Mick Klinkers. Mick on the back of the 113. This is for 4th place. Here's the battle for the lead though. There is Tom Reed. Just seems too little too late for Max Jolly, although he does gain a 1/10 back. Last sector though, 2 1/10 lost. Gap back up to almost 5/10 of a second. Riley Morrow has been dominant in this race. Both Max Jolly, Tom Reed, they've both tried attacking at him. It's not quite done yet. We are in the final lap of this race, but neither of them have succeeded to gain back the time they lost on Riley Morrow. Last lap of the race was the quickest lap of the race so far by Riley Morrow. And he's done everything perfect. He's just got a couple more corners to round off now. Goes through 10. Into 11. Looks behind. Sees that Max Jolly is way too far back to really have a genuine attack. And he knows it. Coming out of turn 12. He wins! Riley Morrow wins the final of the mini rookies. Max Jolly in second and Tom Reed in third. They both had a go at him, but they couldn't get him. Neither of them had the speed that Riley Morrow had in this final. Austin Ommendome take a bow from P22 all the way to P4 in this race, just outside the podium. He'll be kicking himself that he had to start from P22, because who knows what would have been possible. But Austin Ommendome, majestic drive up 18 positions. And Harry Ratcliffe finishes 5th where he started. Mick Klinkers down 2 in 6th. Tristan Abels in 7th stays where he was. 8 for Leo Livings, Jensen Walker in 9th, and Dejan Habets in P10. But at the end of the day, neither Max Jolly or Tom Reed quite had the pace that Riley Morrow had. They both tried, but none of them could quite get close enough to Riley Morrow. Further on through the results then, Matthias Verreken in P11 ahead of Tren van Melik in P12, Ryan Rampadarith in P13, Arlo Gamble P14, Mikkel Gottschalk in P15, and Leon Herbots in 16, Jonathan Otterson in P17. That was as far as I could read before the timing pitch switched over to our next session, our next final here at Karting de Fun International Raceway, and that is DD2 and DD2 Masters. Back underway then at Karting de Fun in Marienborg, and we get ready for the final for DD2 and DD2 Masters. It was Sam Knopius who so far has had the perfect day. Can he round it off with just another victory? And nobody's been able to beat him today so far. Took pole, took the win in the qualifying heat, and took the win in the pre-final. So he will start from pole position. Antoine Barbaro in second, ahead of William Norbach in third. Frederik Zebis in fourth. Third row of the grid is Wout Kirstjens and Lawrence Herbots. Then fourth row of the grid is Christophe Capitaine and Marco Drittenprijs. He was the biggest gainer in the last race. Fifth row of the grid is Jeremy Brasler and Axel Goes. In the sixth row of the grid we find Nicolas Quillem and Kian de Brandt. Seventh row of the grid we find Michael Becker and Lisanne Kielstra. And last and final row of the grid, Mattis Ankas and Gustavs Asakovs. Guys are going to come round to the lineup side by side, get into the tram lines, look at the lights, and as soon as they're out, we are underway. Alright, I'm going to show you it wasn't my fault. I'm going to try and not curse this time, but I have a feeling we're going to get this underway in one go. Drivers will be lining up side by side now. They'll take it calmly. And then into turn one. We'll see what's possible. Nice and easy into the tram lines. Watching the red lights. This time we do get it underway immediately. It's a good start for our pole sitter, Sam Knopius. Antoine Barbaro still in second. Sam Knopius, what we saw in the last two races was that he was able to check out a little. I think that was even more clear in the pre-final. But we did also see that Antoine Barbaro at the end of that pre-final for sure had the pace to come back at Antoine Barbaro. They gained half a second, the pack, on Sam Knopius afterwards. So I'm expecting this to be less of a walk in the park for Sam Knopius. A little bit further back, it's the 424 of Marco Drittenprijs, already up to two positions again. Lawrence Herbots trying to come back at him. It was a move around the outside from Marco Drittenprijs. Start finish goes Sam Knopius. The gap already 1.2 seconds. I told you Sam Knopius is checking out again. However, I did not expect it to happen to this extent again. They have got 5 more minutes this time round, though, to catch back up to Sam Knopius. Seems like Antoine Barbaro struggles at the beginning of these heats and then comes back at Sam Knopius. Let's see, gap is also a little smaller than it was before. Now, back started fighting. But that will work in the favor of Antoine Barbaro. Last time round, Antoine, only 0.08 of a second slower than Sam Knopius. Sam Knopius just keeps putting in fastest sector after fastest sector after fastest sector. Last time round, Sam Knopius, a 54.901. That was the fastest lap of the race. Closely followed by Antoine Barbaro. Start finish, they come again. As we focus then a little bit further back in the field, in the battles that are going on, the field has spread out quite nicely. Battle between the 444 and the 455 from Axel Goes. Nicolas Guilhem trying to get past. We look at 468 from Wout Kirstjens. Ahead of him is Frederik Zebbis and William Norbach. That's for third place those two are fighting. Or those three are fighting. They've got half a second to Antoine Barbaro, who this time seems to be on. The gap keeps getting bigger though. Last time round 54.794. Sam Knopius fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap. There hasn't been one lap yet that Sam Knopius didn't set a new fastest lap, and I think that, I guess, tells the story. Yeah, this train is all the way from P10 all the way to P5. Even P4, I would say. Frederik Zebbis, Wout Kirstjens, Laurens Herbots, Marco Drittenprijs, Christophe Kapitein, and Axel Goes, Nicolas Guilhem, and Jeremy Brasler. All of them still in, with a shot at what is, for the time being, a fourth place. Gap behind that, or in front of that, is opening up. Gap from William Norbach to Antoine Barbaro is 7/10 of a second. Last time round though, Antoine Barbaro, I did tell you, fastest lap of the race, 54.727, 10th quicker again than Sam Knopius. Sam Knopius though takes back that fastest lap, 54.699, and is with that lap time almost 3/10 of a second quicker than Antoine Barbaro. And that is a big margin. Gap opens back up to let's have a quick run through the top 10 then. Sam Knopius in first, ahead of Antoine Barbaro in second, William Norbach third, Frederik Zebbis fourth, Wout Kirstjens in P5 and Laurens Herbots in P6. Marco Drittenprijs in seventh, first driver who's won a place. Top 6 has stayed exactly the same as we left the starting grid. Christophe Kapitein in P8 is the one who lost that place to Marco Drittenprijs. Then Axel Goes up one place. Jeremy Brasler is down 2. And Mathis Ankas is down, or is up 3 in 12th. Kian de Brandt is in 13th, ahead of Michael Becker in 14th. Gustav Usakovs in P15 and Lisanne Kievelstra in P16, losing 2 spots from where she started. Not a fastest lap this time round by Sam Knopius. 54.661. .498 of Lawrence Herbots has to defend from Marco Drittenpreis. So he's all over the back of him, together with Christophe Capitaine and Axel Goes. Still that battle continues as Axel Goes is now closed back up to that too. This is giving Jeremy Brasler, the Frenchman, the opportunity to catch back up to both of them, or to all four of them. In fact, as 424 I think was looking for a way past Marco Drittenpreis on Lawrence Herbots. Sam Knopius, 2.3 seconds gone. Impressive race by him so far. Can't slack down though, because 2.3 seconds is easily lost if you make a big mistake. But knows now that it's not 100% risk required in order for him to win this race. He has the fastest lap of the race. Lap times are starting to go back up again. The best is off the tires. Most of my timing screen is yellow, as it will be for you guys at home, as Nicolas Guillem gains a position on Marco Drittenpreis, who's now dropped down to 10th. Axel Goes up 2 as well, up to 8th. Nicolas Guillem has an 8/10 gap though to Axel Goes. Here he is, Sam Knopius. What a dominant race it's been. What a dominant display again. If we look at DD2 and DD2 Masters in the championship, Sam Knopius with a perfect round in Final 1 and Final 2 in Genk during the first round of the BNL karting series, and because of that was leader of the championship by 10 points over Frederick Zebis, who is on 100. 96 points for Antoine Barbaro and 95 points for Hannes Morin. So behind that it's quite close. Two drivers on the same amount of points. Brendan Klein-Nagelvoort and Axel Goes are also on the same points. But that's enough about the championship. Let's focus on what's to do here today. And that is win this final. That's what Sam Knopius has to do. And that's what Sam Knopius is doing at the moment. 2.7 seconds is the gap. Not a 10th away from his fastest lap last time round. As once again the sun has decided to peek through the clouds and shine up on what is a masterful performance by the Dutch driver Sam Knopjes. As this is still the battle for P6. Christophe Kapitein has gotten past Lawrence Herbots. But Christophe Kapitein also leads the DD2 Masters class by a big 3.8 seconds almost over his fellow DD2 Masters class driver Jeremy Brasler. So 33 seconds left here. We have 2 more laps in the tank. As that gap from Sam Knopjes is ever growing. Almost 3 seconds that gap. Sam Knopjes continues to extend his lead at the front of the field. Is not backing down. I have to give him that though. Last lap of the race, 54.583, which is the fastest lap of the race. Keeps getting quicker, Sam Knopjes does. As he will round up turn 12. For the second to last time to start what will be the final lap. And with a gap like that, it'll be one big party lap already for Sam Knopjes, but nothing is over till the checkered flag flies. Last lap board is out by our marshal. But Sam Knopjes started this day by taking pole position, doing the warm-up, quickest in warm-up, took pole position in the 5-minute qualifying we had, took the qualifying heat win, and that set him up perfectly for a dominant victory in the pre-final, and he rounds off turn 12 in the final corner to win the final 2 by a dominant 3.5 seconds over Antoine Barbeau. William Norbach finishes a 10th behind in P3. That was a battle to the end. But Sam Knopjes wins a dominant Saturday here at Karting de Fun International Raceway. Phew. Travis must be thinking, what about tomorrow? We've got another couple of heats to go. Another couple of races to go with this driver. Sam Knopjes' dominant display here on the Saturday. Driver is behind him with some thinking to do. Let's look at the results then. Antoine Barbaro in second, ahead of William Norbach in third. Frederik Zebis in P4. Wout Kustjens in P5. Christophe Kapitein in 6th. Lawrence Herbots in 7th. Axel Goes in 8th. Nicolas Guillem in P9. Marco Drittenprijs in P10. Matthijs Ankans in P11. Jamie Brasler in P12. Kieran de Brandt in P13. Mikael Becker in P14. Gustavs Uzakovs in P15. And Lisanne Kielstra in P16. Last one to finish this race. Wow. What a race that was. And boy, can I tell you, I'm looking forward to tomorrow already for these DD2 and DD2 Masters. Sam Knopjes dominant ahead of Antoine Barbaro. Next up here then is the final for the Junior Max class. will be 12 minutes plus 1 lap. Drivers patiently awaiting once again the signal from Theo at the front of the pre-grid. Once again, 31 cards this grid. Theo looking on nicely there. Happy with how things are going down at the pre-grid. And the green flag is out. There you go. There's the wave from Theo. I told him to do that, and he did so. Let's have a look then, shall we, at the starting grid, the 31 kart strong starting grid in the Mux Juniors. It is Jacob Ashcroft in first, second is Vince van der Halen, third Max Sadurski, fourth Harry Freeman, fifth Lars Lumbers, sixth is Mate Kobahice, seventh is Noah Barham, Ryan Gondor in P8, ninth is Boas Maximov, 10th is Ethan Griffiths, 11th is Bran van der Weken, 12th is Lieke van Boekel. 13th, Sebastian Lausch. Mason Bjerring in 13th. 14th is Frederick Flood Engebretts. 15th is Isaac Barker. 16th, Jente Mone. 17th is Shun Sekiguchi. 18th is Lionel Mungui. 19th is Louis Radcliffe. And 20th is Alex Goodson. 21st is Devon Jetter. 22nd, Justin Frank. And 13th is Erik Brandsborg. 14th is Storm van Roosem. Ludwig Hansson is in P25. P26 is Samir Paul. P27 is Thomas Verheijen. P28 is Archie Lovat. And P29 is Koen Willems. P30 is Liam Haug. I have Sebastian Lausch still in the pits, it tells me. The live timing. That's why all the drivers moved up a position. Because Sebastian Lausch is still in the pits, apparently. At least that's what my live timing is telling me. Drivers lining up side by side. Coming in to the starting area to start the final for the Max Juniors. The lights are still on and we're gonna do that again. Lights stayed on for the juniors. Race director not happy with the start. And that means we have to do it all over again. Right then, here we go. Let's see if we can get it right this time round. Race director in the tower, frantically looking at the lines. Can we stay in line this time? Looks like a good line, that is. The lights are out, we're underway. It's a good start from our pole sitter. Who's going to come out? Jacob Ashcroft or Vince van der Halen? Who's going to come out in front? It looks like it is Jacob Ashcroft. Jacob Ashcroft indeed has come through. But losing a lot of positions is Vince van der Halen. Something's gone wrong in turn 1 for him because Max Sadurski has gotten up into P2. Vince van der Halen has dropped down a little. As we had an incident just behind that in turn 2. Those drivers are back on their way again. But of course losing a substantial amount of time. And Jacob Ashcroft is checking out. Gap is 0.4 of a second. Max Sadurski at the front in second. Barham in third. Mate Kobahitse in fourth. Ryan Gundur in fifth. Boaz Maximov in sixth. Ethan Griffith in seventh. Lieke van Boekel in eighth. Vince van der Halen down in ninth position. Extremely frustrating first lap for Vince van der Halen. What can he do? Starting second, down in ninth now. As we see the 210. Oh no! Mason Bjerring, who was 10th, stopped on track. There's no life left in that kart. And visibly disappointed with that. Oh man. Bran van der Wecken is up to 10th now. He's behind Vince van der Halen. The two Belgians are going to work together. Quickest lap of the race last time round for Bran van der Wecken. Wheel it back to the mid pack. There goes the 205 of Gandour, who's gone past Noah Barham, up into the podium now for the 205. Mate Kobahitz is up to second. He's gained 4 positions too. Drivers from 2nd to 5th have all gained 4 positions. Max Sadurski in 6th. The only driver who's kept his position in this race is Jacob Ashcroft, who seems to have checked out a little at the front. The battle continues though for... a little bit of a touch from the 205, a little bit of a bump. Has to watch out that he doesn't get a click bumper, because that would be an automatic 5-second penalty. The Tablet of Doom defended though by Mate Kobahitze, who stays in 2nd. It's allowing Jacob Ashcroft to create himself a nice little gap. And he knows it. He's looked behind and he's seen the gap behind him. Mate Kobahitze. The perfect rear gun for Jacob Ashcroft as Mate Kobahitze loses a handful of positions on the outside there. Just got stuck on the outside. And I think he's lost a couple of positions there. Yes, he has. Oh my goodness me, he's dropped down to around 8th place. It's now Ryan Gandour who's up into 3rd, or up into 2nd. But the gap will have grown even further to Jacob Ashcroft. Yeah, it's the 205 of Ryan Gandour who's up into 2nd. Mate Kobahitze down to 15th. 2nd to 15th on one lap, lost 13 positions. Battle for 2nd now, the most interesting. 1.8 seconds is the gap. Almost halfway done with this race. Fastest middle sector set by Bran van der Wecken. Vince van der Halen also still trying to make his way up to 8th. The gap has grown even further at the front of the field. Boss Maximov now in 2nd. He's gone ahead of Ryan Gandour. Here they come. Rounding off turn 8 and 9. Going into 10 now. Gap is closing between Max Sadurski and Ryan Gandour. How far is the question? We'll see that this time around. It was 0.5 of a second. It's 4.5, a little under tenths of a second. Gap at the front though, but has opened up by a tenth once again. 2 seconds the gap now for Jacob Ashcroft. But this race far from over. Boss Maximov, he's driven an impressive race. Vince van der Halen also up into 6th now. Fastest first sector for Boas Maximov. But has to put in a real shift if he wants to get back onto the bumper of Jacob Ashcroft. Here is the 296 of Bram van der Vekke, the driver who set the fastest lap earlier on in this race. He's gained 4 positions and he's in 7th at the moment. Oh, the inside though. And that is a move to get past the 213. That's Vince van der Halen. Up into 50 he goes. And what a move that was to do so. That was impressive by the Belgian driver. Up into 50 goes. Half sideways. Tokyo drift into turn 1. But he did get the move done. Next on the list now is Bram van der Vekke for Noah Barham. Gap has come down by 0.2 of a second. Now at the front was Maximov 56.1 last time round. That's 0.2 quicker. Ryan Gandour 56 flat. That's 0.3 quicker than Jacob Ashcroft. But they need to gain more than that every lap in order to have a proper attempt at catching Jacob Ashcroft. Jacob Ashcroft just has to make 0 mistakes here. And he knows that this race is his. As Ryan Gandour has gotten back ahead of Boas Maximov already. Here you can see the difference between Jacob Ashcroft and Boas Maximov. Or Ryan Gandour, sorry. Boas Maximov has slotted back in behind Ryan Gandour. Last lap, another 0.2 faster than Jacob Ashcroft. But he knows that that's enough. He knows that the pace he's driving now is going to be 1, difficult to beat, and 2, they will not beat it by enough that they will catch back up to him. This is a race of making no mistakes now for Jacob Ashcroft. This group has been strengthened though by Vince van der Halen, who dropped down massively in the opening, but is now back in 5th and is on the bumper of Max Sadurski. So what can he do now? Vince van der Halen, another fastest lap of the race, 55.8 this time round. Last time round though, Jacob Ashcroft responded with a 56.1. 55.8 by Vince van der Halen. That's a casual 0.3 quicker than anyone has managed so far. Together with Bram van der Vekke, the only drivers into the 55s. Now Vince van der Halen up into 4th now. What can he do? Yes, 1 more lap after this one. Next up for Vince now is Boss Maximov and Ryan Gandur. Question is, can he get them? Inside defended. Doesn't matter though. He tries to switch back. He can't quite make it work. Has to stick in behind. Knows that second is realistically the only thing he can get here. But after dropping down to P14, that will be some result if he could get that. The inside of the turn 1. Vince van der Halen up into P3. And he isn't quite done there yet. Has to defend the inside on Boss Maximov into turn 2. But Ryan Gunder now next up his list. Look at the aggressive inside line by Vince van der Halen. He's not done here yet, the Belgian driver. Wants to get back where he started from. Wants to be in with a proper shot tomorrow at taking the overall victory this weekend. But here is Jacob Ashcroft. Rounds off turn 8 and turn 9. And he knows he's done enough. He knows that the drivers behind him will never be able to catch him if he doesn't make a mistake. If his car doesn't give, it will be Jacob Ashcroft who wins the Saturday at Karting de Fun for round number 2 of the BNL. A photo finish, a 3-wide finish behind that too. Ryan Gandu keeps P2 by 27 thousandths of a second over Vince van der Halen. Behind that, a 3-wide finish again between Max Sadurski, who finishes 4th, Boss Maximov in 6th, and Bran van der Vecken in 6th. And it was 14 thousandths from Boss Maximov to Max Sadurski in 4th and 5th. And it was 29 thousandths of a second from Bran van der Vecken to Boas Maximov in 5th and 6th. Goodness me. That was a proper race for P2 only, sadly. Because Jacob Ashcroft checked out early in this race and never looked back. Looking through the rest of the field then. It's Noah Barham in 7th, that of Ethan Griffiths in 8th, Isaac Barker in 9th, Lieke van Boekel in 10th, Archie Lovatz in 11th, Eric Brunsborg in 12th, Louise Radcliffe in 13th, Ludwig Hansson in 14th, Harry Freeman in 15th, Storm van Rossum in 16th, Liam Haug in 17th, Shun Seguchi in P18, 19th Justin Funk, and Jente Mona, rounding off the top 20. Koen Willems in 21st, Frederick Flood Engelberts in P22, Alex Goodson in P23, Devon Yetter in P24, Samir Paul in P25 and P26 for Lionel Minguit. Drivers not finishing this race: Mate Kobaitse, sadly, Mason Bjerring, Lars Lumbers, Bastian Loesch and Thomas Verheyen. Those are the drivers not finishing this race. Mate Kobaitse up there in 2nd to not finishing this race. Bran van der Vecken, fastest lap of the race with a 55.7. A good 10th quicker than Vince van der Halen managed to do. And we saw that incident in the early stages between the 277 of Harry Freeman. That's why he dropped down to P15 in this result. And what a move that was from Ryan Gandur. Take what at the time was a pretty impressive P3. This fighting then was ultimately what gave Jacob Ashcroft the edge. But that was it for the Max Juniors. Next up here at the circuit is the Max Seniors for their final, and it'll be the final race of the day as well. Welcome back at Karting Define for the final race of the day. And we are looking at the 346 of Sverre Uben. He will start 10th in the final. Here he is then, the 351 of Lewis Goff will start right behind Sverre Uben in P12. The 336 of Oliver Jonkers behind, or next to him.
Tiram Duar, Tiram Duar, Tiram Duar, Tiram Duar.
All right, here we go. They're leaving the pre-grade, and that means only one thing. That means that it's time to look at the grade for one final time for us today for the Max Seniors, the final. Final for the Max Seniors will start as follows. Tom Langlois will take the pole position ahead of Macaulay Bishop in second. Ollie Wise in third. Cameron Nelson fourth. Matej Radenkovic fifth. Sebastian Koch sixth. Ahead of Ties van Wijk in seventh. Devian Roest in eighth. Arnold Saborin in 9. Olivier Jonkers in P10. Jort van Wijk in 11th. Ahead of Lewis Goff in P12. Charlie Smith in P13. Sverre Uben in P14. Christoph Holst in P15. Lado Kutianidze in P16. Lloyd Hare in P17. Adam Wooden P18. Bastien Mesnil P19. Tino Sidla, after that disappointing race he had in the pre-final in P20. Tino Potje in P21. William Pemble P22. Frederick Jules Sørensen P23. Bo Alrichs P24. Magnus Brandt P25. René Bourguignon in P26. Knut Nielsen P27. Gas Boshuis P28. P29 for Matthijs de Lauw. P30 for Rijn van der Meer. And Sashaim in P31. Well then, let's get ready for one final start. Let's hope this one will happen in one go. Oh no! We've got drama before we even got to the starting line. It is Goff who is out of this race. Lewis Goff. Will the start be delayed because of this? Is the question. Have they gotten that card away already? They've got it as far away as they can. Marshall's still working on that, but we turn our heads to the start. Drivers instructed to line up side by side. For one final time, the revs rise. That was an early one. The lights are not out, and I could see that coming from about 2 corners away, because they were very early on throttle. And I think they started before they were even in the tram lines this time round. Turns out last start of the day is not going to be done in one go. We're going to have at least another go at it. If we don't get it going this time round, the drivers will be stopped at start finish, and the race director will have a word with them. Alright then, let's get it going this time round, shall we? Drivers once again being instructed to line up side by side. Once again instructed to calm down. Take it easy. Wait for the lights to go out. They will go out this time round. Paulson doesn't have the best of starts, but he does manage to keep P1. Oh no, it's Macaulay Bishop being shuffled back through the field, and that is Ollie Wise coming up to P2 together with Cameron Nelson, who's also up the order, and then Macaulay Bishop in fourth. So Macaulay Bishop losing out 2 positions at the start. But most crucially for Tom Langlois, Tom Langlois has been able to keep P1, and that is all that he will care about. Let's see what Macaulay Bishop can do. Coming back through the field now. Across start finish also once again. This final 15 minutes plus 1 lap. Just like the DD2 and DD2 Masters final. As the battle for the lead is now properly kicking off. Still Tom Langlois at the front. No, the 356 making his way through. Ollie Wise has gone through on Cameron Nelson. Up into second goes Ollie Wise. Tom Langlois has lost the lead to Cameron Nelson as well. So it was Tom Langlois losing the position to Ollie Wise and to Cameron Nelson. Matej Radenkovic also up into 4th. Macaulay Bishop down a further place to 5th. But there is the move from the 355 back past Ollie Wise. Have to be careful that they don't lose too much time to Cameron Nelson. Also run away with it. We saw that in the previous race. From Jacob Ashcroft. Running with the 2-second lead that he had. Never looked back after that. Once again, the drivers seemingly haven't learned from that. They're going back at it. And it's allowing Cameron Nelson to check out. Gap was up to 8/10 across start finish this time round. But Tom Langlois not giving up that fight to Ollie Wise. Bourguignon with the fastest lap of the race so far. As through a double overtake, that is for the 312 of Charlie Smith. Overtakes Matej Radenkovic and Macaulay Bishop in one go. Up at the 4th, he goes from 6th to 4th in one corner. Tom Langlois still ahead of Ollie Wise, but both of them trying their best to catch back up to Cameron Nelson. Meanwhile, Cameron Nelson setting the fastest lap of the race last time around, 55.430. You watch the 368 of Macaulay Bishop. After starting from 2nd, behind Tom Langlois, is now in P5. Charlie Smith also ramping up the pace. 55 flat for Charlie Smith. It's 3/10 faster than any driver ahead of him. The American holding his own. Tom Langlois seems to have checked out a little now. It's the battle between Charlie Smith and Ollie Wise. Where can Charlie Smith try to get past Ollie Wise? And is Tom Langlois gaining on Cameron Nelson? The answer is no. Last lap time was 1,000th slower than Cameron Nelson at the front. The fastest lap still belongs to Charlie Smith. But boy, 1,000th of a second separating the two. The 333 of Jocht van Wijk trying to get up into the top 10 here. As we look back at Tom Langlois, who has closed in slightly now. No, he hasn't. Gap's grown again. Gap is up to 2nd. Oh, 3 wide into turn 1. We do make it work. That was Adam Wooden losing out to Lado Kakianidze and Lloyd Hare. As through they come once again. Gap has come down just slightly this time round, just under a tenth. Gained by Tom Longlois. Tom Longlois has been in second for quite a bit now. You could say that he tried to catch up together with Ollie Wise and Charlie Smith, but they just, I mean, a 10th is not going to be enough anymore. We still have, however, though, keep that in mind, 6 minutes left, so just under 7 minutes left. So this race is far from over. But Cameron Nelson in pole position to win it. Tom Longlois once again matching but not gaining on Cameron Nelson. Matej Radenkovic in 5th still. Macaulay Bishop in 6th. Devian Roest has gained a position compared to Ties van Wijk. Devian Roest has gone past Ties. He's up at the 7th now. Ties down to 8th. But how far can Devian Roest take this? Now it's 3/10 to Macaulay Bishop ahead. To demote him a further position. .9 now is the gap for the lead though. 1.9 to Tom Longlois. And Tom Longlois is having to defend like a lion from Charlie Smith in 2nd. Or in 3rd, excuse me. Ollie Wise seeing all of this happen in front of him. But Charlie Smith has been extremely quick as that's a spinner. The 393 of Devian Roest is off the track. Is he stuck in the grass? That'd be a calamity for Devian Roest. How's he gotten out of there is my question. He still seems stuck there and he's gotten out of his car. I can see it from the commentary box window. Devian Roest in the final will not see the checkered flag. Ooh, that does then also cross the track. Close to when someone is about to get into turn 6. We're lucky that ended well. But Devian Roest sadly will not see the checkered flag. And that's disappointing for someone who, well, let's be honest, was in the top 8 at least the whole day. Even at a moment up in the top 2. Being up in 2nd. In the qualifying heat, the pre-final. But sadly the final is not meant to be for him. Tino Sidler in 6th has gained 14 positions and has just set another quickest first sector time. Fastest lap time belongs to Sverre Uben, who's gained 7 positions, 54.922. As it's still Tom Longlois in 2nd place ahead of Charlie Smith. But Charlie Smith, what a race he's had too. Up 10. Minutes to go. Cameron Nelson is checked out. If he doesn't do anything crazy, he'll win this final. But he does do crazy things because he's just set another fastest lap of the race. showing that he for sure deserves to be that far in the lead. 54.898. Another purple sector for Cameron Nilsson. Gap is up to 4 seconds. He's already in turn 2, while the others are still trying to make their way through turn 1. Yeah, the gap is massive for Cameron Nilsson. We can look back behind him, because that's where the battle will be. And the battle has been for the previous laps. Tom Longlaw ahead of Charlie Smith and Ollie Wise. And then Tino Sittler now ahead of Uben Sverre, or Sverre Uben, and Ties van Wijk. Here we go then, 3:55 of Tom Longlaw, still in second. Slipstream doing its thing. We've got 3 more laps to go, including this one. 2 more after this one. Having to defend is Tom Longlaw. Looking to the inside is Charlie Smith, and he does get past Charlie Smith up into second. And Tom Longlaw from the pole to third, as it looks like. And it's not done yet. Ollie Wise is still behind him in the 3:56. Tino Sittler in 5th, up 15 positions too. Watch out for him if they keep fighting like this. Tino Sittler might well close back up on him. He's still got 2 laps. Don't forget that. Charlie Smith is finally past Tom Longlaw. Let's see if he can drive away from him now. Seems to have had a little bit of overspeed on Tom for the time he's been behind him. Ollie Wise immediately setting green sectors. Personal bests. But here comes Cameron Nilsson to start the final lap of this race. These 3 still as close as ever. Tom Longlaw in third now though. Charlie Smith leading this pack. And he has seemed to just have a little better pace than Tom Longlaw. Matched Cameron Nilsson on the last lap. Fastest lap of the race for Tino Sittler on the last lap though. 54.815. But this is the man who started on pole position. Can't convert. Will finish second at best, because it is the 3:04 of Cameron Nilsson, starting from 4th on the grid. He will win the final in Max Senior across the line. It's a victory for him. Second is Charlie Smith. Tom Longlaw in third after starting on pole. And Ollie Wise in 4th ahead of Tino Sittler, up 15 positions. Think about Tino Sittler. That is a heck of a comeback. Sverre Uben up 8 as well in 6th. Jort van Wijk up 4 in 7th. Sebastian Koch lost 2 positions in 8th. Macaulay Bishop lost 7, down in 9th. And Ties van Wijk also lost 3, down in 10th. Heloid in 11th ahead of Saborin Arnaud in 12th. Laro Kukianidza in P13. Adam Wooden in P14. Olivier Jonkers in P15. Knut Nielsen P16. Matthijs Terlouw in P17. Ryan Bourguignon in P18. Sasheim in P19. And William Pepels in P20. Dino Potier in P21, Bastien Mesnil in P22, Frederick Jules Sørensen in P23, Brand Magnus in P24, 25th is Christopher Holst and Bo Alrichs in P26. Drivers not seeing the checkered flag, Matej Radenkovic, of course Devian Roest after his incident in turn 6 at the DNF, Rijn van der Meer in P29, Gus Boshuis in P30 and Lewis Goff. His race was over before it even began. Well then, that was amazing. Racing the whole day round. 4 finals in the afternoon together with 2 pre-finals. That's it then for Saturday. We'll do all of that over again on Sunday as BNL returns to do exactly the same as we have done today. Once again, we'll start with a warm-up, a qualifying. Then we'll have a pre-final and another final. Well, that was it for today. Of course, 2 or 4 amazing finals we had in the Mini and Mini Rookie, in the DD2 and DD2 Masters, in the Junior Max and the Senior Max. We'll be back to do all of that tomorrow again here at Karting the Fun International Raceway. But for today, that was it for all the racing action. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.